In the previous video, I went through the final market crash of FIFA 22. The market will continue to go down from this point all the way to the end. So I think for this video, we should actually be talking about endgame and how you can get the most out of your ultimate team. Before we do get into the video though, if you are looking to get some very easy coins, then there is no better place than Mule Factory. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video, it's no secret that we're coming towards the end of FIFA 22, and for the last couple of months of FIFA, there are certain things that I'm doing, which I will be sharing within this video. Hopefully you can use the information provided to develop your own roadmap for the end, where FIFA 23 will eventually release, and then we go through this whole cycle again. So the first thing worth mentioning is that between now all the way to the end, the market is going to continuously go down. With Team of the Season, it is the last major crash of the year, but for most people, they expected it to be something different. Most expected Team of the Season release and then all of a sudden the markets just go. But because the FIFA community is just so prepared, the crash actually started all the way back in February and March time. This is when content creators started to share what they were about to do. They were selling off their most expensive players and stacking as many packs as possible. So their audience did the exact same thing at the exact same time. So we ended up seeing a crash around February and March time, and then the market continuously went down up until the release of Team of the Season, where it did yet again crash. Now we're coming towards the last couple months and there will still be promos being released. It's not as big as Team of the Season, but with these promos that do get added to FUT, it's still going to lead to players constantly going down from this point all the way to the end. The amount of live transfers on the market for each platform will carry on going down as less people are interested within the game, and demand will also go down because most will look at the FIFA 23 trailers and all the different events taking place. Some players may even be part of the FIFA 23 closed beta, and all of this leads to there being less people wanting to play FIFA 22. So whatever you do currently have within your club, let's just say it's not going to be valued as much within the next couple weeks or even couple months. That doesn't mean that you should go off and sell everything because it all depends what you're looking for your endgame. The second point is that despite the market continuously going down, it's still worth trading. For a lot of people, in fact the majority of the FIFA community, it's likely that you haven't reached the point you want to reach. There's a lot of players in game that you still want to play with and you still want them to be part of your team. And trading is still the best way to do this. The market will continuously go down as previously mentioned, but also it has been going down ever since the release of FIFA 22. So it makes no difference. It's just now players are at an all-time low, making them so much more obtainable. You can use the coins that you have to buy into pretty decent players within game and use them to trade to eventually build to those godly players. And the good thing is, because of that market crash, they're coming down at the exact same time in which you're building your coin balance, and at some point you'll meet within the middle where you're able to buy into that player. Now the types of methods that you can use, most of the ones that we've shown on this channel will continue to work. There's actually a video which goes through the 10 methods that you can use between now all the way to the end, so I highly recommend watching that video. If you're looking for investing, this is where things are slightly different because I'm no longer investing anymore. The one investing method that I've been telling you to use all year is by investing into Team of the Week players on a weekly basis. If you're able to trade with players and make 100k in profit, I would recommend spending 50k to buy some of those players as part of the Team of the Week that is just about to be taken out of packs and store them into your club for a few weeks to even a few months. Now, if you did this, those players will still increase. They are still needed with SBCs, and we are fast approaching the point in which EA does re-release all the content throughout the whole year. So if there was an SBC that you missed, it's likely that it will be put back into SBCs where you can submit Team of the Week players. The reason that I'm not investing is purely because there's not as much time for them to increase. Going all the way back to the beginning of this game, I always told you to buy into those Team of the Week players, anywhere between 10 to 15k. Those players now are worth 50k, with a lot of them being extinct. If you were to buy into the players now as part of this week's Team of the Week, you're just not going to have that opportunity where they're able to reach all the way to 50,000 coins or even be extinct on the market. It's just not going to happen. And that also brings me to the next point of that there is no reason for me to invest. There's a lot of players that I want to play with, and for me to do that as quickly as possible, I'm just trading to them, buying them, storing them into my club and using them within my team, rather than looking towards the future, because the future is only a couple months from now. There just isn't much point for me personally. Another thing that I've cut down on is the amount of matches that I play every single week. I'm no longer interested in being competitive, so I'm not going for the likes of FUT Champions during the weekend league. It was fun during Team of the Season whilst Team of the Seasons were in packs, but as for now, there's nothing really interesting me. And I do know that the weekly rewards will change every single week depending on the promo and what's available, especially as we do come towards the end, but it's just not as big of a deal for me. This is just a personal thing. So the matches that I do play is going into division rivals, I do go into friendlies, and depending what else is happening, occasionally I may go into squad battles. But even when I do go through them, it's just not as much as what I used to, because in all honesty, I'm just looking towards FIFA 23 more than anything else, and I've kind of lost the motivation. With that said, I am still building different types of teams. There are still a lot of players within the game that I haven't used, and it's purely because I couldn't afford them at the time. But now I can sell off a few players within my club, clear out some of my consumables, build up my coin balance. I am still trading, as mentioned within a previous point, and I can buy into those players. I will then use them within different teams as I experiment with different types of custom tactics, which I probably should have done a lot sooner, but I didn't, so now is the time. I'm using different players that I never intended to use before because I just didn't think that they would fit the meta when going into the weekend league. But I'm not going into the weekend league, and it really doesn't matter if I win or lose. I honestly don't care. I'm actually just playing for the fun of it rather than actually trying to win. Which does mean I also have slightly changed up my playstyle in just trying to do random skill moves within the midfield as I try and push forward, trying to get some pretty decent goals, whereas before I would always just do the finesse shots, all of that stuff that would fit the meta of Ultimate Team because I wanted to win. Now I just don't really care. And this does bring me on to the last thing that I'm doing. Any players that I do enjoy using, whether that be part of the team or whether or not I just want to buy into the players because I enjoy watching them within real life and want them within my club, I'm buying them and storing them to my club. One thing that's always nice to do is to look back on previous Ultimate Teams and clubs that you've been able to build. There used to be a thing on the web app which I don't think is there anymore, and if it is there, please let me know of how I can actually find this, but there used to be a thing called generations. You can go into your club, you can select which FIFA you played previously as long as it is on that account, and you will have access to all the players available. You could put together different types of teams with past and present players. The only thing that you couldn't do is actually play with them. It didn't actually cross over to the current FIFA, you was just able to see this on the web app. Unfortunately, as far as I know, you can't do this anymore, but it is still nice to have a stacked club so that if you do come back at some point within the future, you have options between all of the players that you have within your club. If you try and go back to FIFA 21 or any other FIFA for that matter, go onto Ultimate Team, look on the transfer market, there are still people playing. But when you are trying to find some of the best players, some of the icons, some of the team of the seasons, the team of the years, or any other promos, it's extremely unlikely that you will be able to find any of those players listed. So it's always been a tradition for me to build up my club, use the time to continuously trade, and for the last month and a half, that is where I'll get rid of all the players I really just don't care about that's currently within my club, and then use the coins to buy players that I do care about, whether that be for real life or because I enjoyed playing with them in Ultimate Team, and then store them into my club so that at some point within the future, if I do ever decide to come back, they're there already available. I just need to place them in a team, and I don't need to rely on a transfer market which is unlikely to have any of the players that I will be looking for. This is what FIFA 22 endgame looks for me. Still doing a lot of the stuff that I was doing before, but there's quite a few things that have changed, such as investing and playing matches, and really the whole reason why I play Ultimate Team. It's hard to find motivation at this point of the year, and I see this for a lot of players. anything that you do build within your account, it doesn't actually matter because it doesn't cross over to the next FIFA. The only thing that does cross over is your account details and FIFA points, which still hasn't been confirmed at the time of recording this video. Everything else, your club, your players, your coins, your record, anything like that, it just gets left behind. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.